As far as, let's say there's a couple of guys, one or two, maybe they're not great singers. Maybe they don't know how to chant. What do you recommend they do in a small group?
Well, it's helpful to learn how to sing the tones because the services will be more beautiful. Some people, especially younger generations, don't learn how to sing anymore because when I was a kid, you were taught to sing in every grade. So people, I think, had better musical abilities than a lot of younger people do now because they're just used to singing with headphones on where they can't hear their own voice and they don't know how to carry a note to save their life.
But they think
But
they
most
sing,
people,
right?
but most people can learn how to sing if they put their mind to it. And I never learned how to read music, sheet music, at least not very well. I mean, I know if the notes are higher, you go up. If they're lower, you go down. But I just learned how to sing the tones by ear. And when I was a new convert, I started off singing in the choir. And so I got a lot of these things in my head, but I didn't know how to recall them. So in other words, if someone said, sing tone 4, Troparian melody, I wouldn't have been able to do it.
Right.
But then my wife and I moved back to Houston, and we were going to a Russian parish that very often at the vigil, there wasn't anybody there, hardly, that could sing. And so I wound up becoming the choir. So I basically had a crash course that I'd put myself through learning how to sing stuff. And I just worked on like one tone a week. So if this week was tone 4, I would work on tone 4.
How many tones do they have to learn total?
Well, there are 8 tones, but each tone has 4 different versions of it. Although in some cases, like the Stakiran melody and the Troparian melody, or maybe even the earmost melody are the same. So sometimes you get a little bit of a break. So there's like Troparian melody, Stakiran melody, Prokeimenon melody, which is also what you do for an Alleluia verse. Mm-hmm. And then there's the earmost melody.
Are you aware of any reference anywhere online where a young soldier wanting to start to learn the tones can go to see things, or are you aware of anything?
Yeah, there's a link on the liturgical text page that's musical resources or something like that.
Okay.
And basically there are sites online you can go to and listen to people singing the various tones, and you can get them in your head that way.
Right.
There's also a CD set you can get called Tone Tutor, which is pretty good. Mm-hmm. Back when I was learning, I just had some cassette tapes, usually bootlegged, that people had done. And I learned it that way. But yeah, I learned some mnemonic devices to memorize the tones. But one really easy one, if you've been Orthodox a while, you probably know how to sing something like the Troparian for Christmas, Thy Nativity. Well, if you're singing the regular melody, not a fancy version of it, that's tone 4 Troparian melody. And so if you just remember every time you see tone 4 for a Troparian melody that's the same as Thy Nativity, O Christ our God, then you'll be okay. Or tone 1 Troparian melody is, O Lord, save thy people, the Troparian of the cross. So if you start to associate a tone with something that you know, you'll have an easier time remembering it.
A good idea. And so your website, on the link to liturgical texts, there's a link to something about singing as well, you said?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
And like I said, there are websites that have sound files that you can just listen to.